Hey guys, welcome back to Senegalese Twisted. I am back again with another review of Maîtresse de nos mariés. Before I start, I just made it into 4 sections. So there is the time before the baby shower, the police investigation, and the after the police investigation. Okay. 1 month later, the twins are seeing their dad at a restaurant or somewhere else, and they show him a surprise, and the surprise is like an echo of like a baby. The first reaction that Tairu has is like, which one of you is pregnant? He's not even happy with it. And the twins are like laughing because it's like, no, mommy is pregnant. However, you'd be a great grandfather though. He still doesn't think it's funny. Then they tell him that we want you back because we are getting a sibling, and apparently they know it is also his weakness, and that is the only reason why he would come back to the house. The twins leave, and then she asks Tairu like, what's up, because she sees it on his face. He's like, why is Dalanda so stubborn? He's asking her if she knew that she was pregnant. She was like, yeah, I knew. He's like, why didn't you tell me, yada yada yada, and she's like, just sign the papers and let her go. You want to be free, however, in order to be free you need to liberate Dalanda as well, you know, because she knows that he's still with Jalika, and she just doesn't understand what is wrong with him, because he wants to be with Jalika, but he doesn't want to let go of Dalanda. Ben is telling him, you know, you need to liberate Dalanda so you can finally marry Jalika, because they're preparing the wedding already, and she knows it as well. Then he is like, what will I say to Jalika about the pregnancy, etc. Ben says, I don't even think you should marry Jalika, because I think that Ben just wants... She's just saying that, Tairu, your wife almost died giving birth to the twins. The only reason you are a dad today is because of Dalanda, you know, and she is putting herself at that risk again. So it would be really ugly and crazy if you would let her go through that stuff again. Although you would be benefiting of it because you would be a dad as well. Then he's saying that, you know, my life is shit. And she's like, well, shit comes in different forms, so we all in shit. Ben's words are amazing, you guys. I love her. Also, Ben is actually also saying that, you know what would you do if she would go through this alone and die? Then you are with the kids, and would you put Jalika with the kids and settle her up with them, etc.? And she's just like giving her food for thought. Salif is talking to Amsa and asking her about her passport because he wants to offer her a whole apartment. She's like, oh, that's nice, but she didn't have her passport with her. At one point, Amsa's looking at him and she's like, oh, will they be there during the wedding? And he's like, no, but we will see them after. And then you can see that Amsa is really thinking about what Cher said about the offshore accounts, and that he doesn't trust him. Then we are back again with the Ndoye Lopez Ndoye thing, and Dalanda is with Tairu and the twins on the couch. Then the twins leave and they get a conversation, and Tairu is asking Dalanda like, is there something you need to tell me? And she's like, yes. First of all, Ben is doing her best with the kids, however you need to discipline them more and be more strict with them. And that's what she wanted to say. Then it's like Tairu looking at her and asking like, why didn't you tell me you were pregnant? And she's like, because it's not important. She's saying that, you know, it doesn't concern you. He's saying what you're doing is actually really bad. And she's just saying that, well, we're still gonna be parents when we're separated, you know? And then he's like, but I won't leave you. And then she's like, but do you want me to abort? And he's like, it would be better if you would, because you would be, you know, you would be alive. He's saying that, you know, I almost lost you once and I'm not going to lose you again. And she's like, but now you're interested in me. And it's just like a whole conversation about how basically it says Taihu doesn't know what he wants, but he doesn't want to lose Dalanda. However, at the same time, he does not want to lose Jalika as well. Dalanda is asking him that, you know what, I signed the divorce. Please do the same so we can still both move on. And he said that whatever he feels or whatever happened with him and Jalika, it's like he never anticipated it. And he does not even know how to explain what actually happened, and he never saw it coming. And Dalanda's like, well, please don't talk about the three-way because I'm not interested. And how are you even able to love two people at the same time? She just doesn't know what that means. Like, how is it possible? And she's right, because how? Then Amsa is going to see Alida and asks about Salif. And she's like, well, we worked together for 10 years and he trusts me. However, I can give you some addresses in Abidjan and you can verify some things for yourself. However, I cannot disclose anything, but, you know, I love Marem too dearly, and I want you to know that Salif trusts me. However, what you need to understand is that when money and power comes at play, that people may seem like they're beautiful or that their lives are beautiful. However, what's really underneath is really, really bad. And when Alida says something like that, that's just like, you know, we know everything already. Like, Salif is not a good person then. Thank you. Next, Mommy goes to see Dalanda. She tells her story that she cannot talk to anyone. She needs help. She's saying that, you know, my boyfriend hit me, but I'm pregnant. Dalanda was really reluctant because the last time she saw Mommy, it was with Jalika, and Jalika is the other woman. And she didn't trust Mommy. However, when she told about this story, Dalanda was concerned. She was like, okay, have you talked to a doctor? What about, did you file a police report? And she was like, yes, I talked to the doctor. However, no, I did not file the police report. And then they talk so much. Then Dalanda goes to the lawyer's office, or, you know, the police office where she needs to represent her client. And then she sees Siaka and she's like, oh, Siaka, are you Mr. Detective Kamara? And he's like, he cannot even respond because the real detective comes in. And then she understands that he is, you know, the person that did all those things to Mommy. And then she drags him. She's like, oh, hell no. Today you are going to learn how to respect women. There's no mediation. My client will file a police report and we'll go for the longest sentence possible, and you, boy, you are going to regret passing me, and I don't want to be you. And she's even telling him, don't ever talk to Ancha. And at the same time, or like afterwards, you have a scene where Ancha's like, he blocked me everywhere. And the only regrettable thing is that Dalanda didn't tell Ancha about Siaka. And I think it would be important for her to tell Ancha about it, because then she would know, like, she wouldn't sulk about him not responding or blocking her everywhere, right? Because I would be like, oh, thank God he's out. And I would never think of any as-ifs with Siaka, because I would know what kind of man he was, and I would be like, I dodged a major bullet, right? But then Dalanda is like, you know what, if you want, we can go to Paris, we can go to Dubai, we can go on a trip. And she doesn't really say anything about it. However, then there's a scene with Regina, and again, Taihu does not want to sign the papers, and Regina's just asking some questions out loud. She's asking Dalanda, like, okay, so what if Taihu will marry Jalika anyways? And she's like, no, he can't, because he signed monogamy, and I will drag him to the courts, and it will be war. And he's like, she's like, Regina is like, and what about Takasuf or something? And then she's like, that's okay, however it will be a war. Then there's the surprise bridal shower for Jalika, hosted by Amsa's beauty salon, and it's organized by Mami and Marem. And it's really cute because she gets a tiara, she gets like the sachet, and Marem tells Jalika that she deserves to be happy. And it looks like a mini bachelorette party. It's really cute. They get the pedicures, they have goodie bags, and in the goodie bags you have like the bins, which are like the waist beads that women wear when they get married, but also normally. And there's a lot of lingerie, and they just talk about well, actually Amsa just shows, and she's like, okay, this one you wear at breakfast, this one at lunch, and this one for dinner. And it's just really cute, innocent, beautiful. They look beautiful as well. And at one point Tairu calls, and she says that, you know, she got a surprise party with Marem and Mami. They organized it, and she doesn't want, you know, a big wedding. It seems like he wants to see her now, and she's like replying that, you know what, well, I can't now because I'm in the middle of something, however what about in an hour or so, and I'll see you later. And then she's like, kisses, but she seems disappointed by that call. Then you see Tairu driving in a car, and he gets a lot of flashbacks. And the first flashback is a pep talk from Dalanda in the car with the twins in the back. And it might have been like him going on a business meeting, or maybe even a job interview, because she's saying, you're so handsome, you're so smart. And she's even encouraging the twins to tell their dad some, you know, encouraging words. And then he thinks about the echo of the baby that the twins showed him. There are even flashbacks of Jalika in that same car, you know, dancing and singing, and it's really, it shows that Tairu doesn't know what he wants. Then in the next scene you see that Tairu is at Jalika's house, and her mom is there, and her mom is like saying that, oh, it's good that, you know, you're here because now we can talk and it's not something bad. However, Jalika is my child, and she was never really loved by her dad, nor her husband Biram. However, she's strong, and you have experienced a lot of that strength too. At one point she didn't feel like living, and because of you she found joy again. It's really, she's just saying to Tairu, you know what, I really trust my child to you, and not because of money, not because of status, just because of principles. And the fact that she can see how he brought her back to life just by being there for her, and whatever relationship they created that way. She also says that if I die today, I know she will be in good hands, and you are now the head of this family. And she says it as in the oldest child of this family. Then it's like Jalika is back, and then the mom goes and she's like, okay, what was so urgent that you wanted to say? And he's silent for so long, and he's like, I don't want to lose you. And she's like, well, was that it? And she is like, you know what, I'll marry you and I will give my all. He's saying to her that, you know what, I'm going to marry you and I'm going to give my all. However, I just ask one thing of me, and that you agree with me, or that you meet me halfway. And she was like, huh? I don't understand. And then she's like, well, I already said yes, and there's nothing that will remove that yes, because you're worth it. Then there's like a scene with Biram, Mansoura, and they're visiting Jalika, and they're sharing their condolences with Jalika, and Biram starts to say that, yeah, Mansoura is a very important person in my life, but Mansoura just gives him, like, she touches his hand, and then he knows that that is not the right time to talk about that, and he's just saying that, you know what, it's not the time to talk about that, but we'll talk about that maybe later. He stops talking about it. Then Mansoura is like, you know what, the only thing we ask of you, Jalika, is that, you know, you give us a chance to be a part of the happiness and the life of your kids as well. And I think that Jalika is really amazed by it, because it's really mature. The approach is so mature, and I understand Jalika, and I think that she will give them a chance. Alida goes to Mansoura's office, and Mansoura first she's like, oh my god, I don't have time for your games. And then she's like, okay, translate this for me and don't tell anyone. I just want to know what's on this. I'm curious, you know. And she listens. Mansoura tells Alida that she's curious about what she found, and she listens, and then she's shocked. But we all know that Mansoura's Wolof is also not 100%, so she asks of Alida an hour, and in an hour she will know what's on the tape. However, Mansoura goes to Detective Camara with the tape and tells him that, you know what, I have something that might interest you, and she gives him the tape. Then you have the scene where Biram and Mansoura are at Raki's office, and she's like, this is your throne. And Biram doesn't understand, because he's like, no, because Raki's still here, she didn't resign, she's my sister, I cannot do this to her. And Mansoura's like, since when are y'all so close? And she's just telling him that, you know what, you are a leader, you are supposed to give orders, and people should be following your orders. Just trust me, I will make you a leader. Just sign and we can inaugurate the office. Marem's mom, Jawa, she's telling Marem that, you know what, I was pregnant with you by shame, and my pregnancy was really painful, and I cried a lot when I was breastfeeding you. And it's like, when you say it in Wolof, it sounds so beautiful. It's like, metid ak gache lale ame, nakar lale umbe, joy lale nampale. Sounds so different. However, she's just saying that, you know, all these emotions came into play when I had you. And she's just, you know, breaking it down, like how she was born or how she was conceived was with a lot of shame, because she was unmarried, and it was also like a lot of pain to be actually pregnant, because then everyone knows that she's not married. And while she was breastfeeding Marem, she cried a lot, maybe because she was doing it alone. She's also reiterating that, you know, a lot of women have been through this, and I'm not the first, and I will definitely not be the last. And then you switch to another scene where Jali is praying for her dad, and she's just praying to God that wherever her father is, that God will have mercy on his soul. And then we go back to Marem and Jawa, and then Mère Diagne comes in, and Marem is shocked, because she's like, whoa, a lot of my pain comes from this woman. And how do you know her? Mère Diagne is telling Marem, you have the right to kick me out of this house. Then she turns to Njawa and she's like, I looked for you everywhere. Then at the same time, it's like, Mariam is being told that Bakari Sanya is her father and that Jalika is her sister at the same time as Jalika, because Jalika's mom is also telling Jalika about Mariam being her sister, and they're both in shock. And there are even flashbacks about their friendship, because do you guys remember season 1? Jalika was so against Mariam being with a married man. And there were also good moments because they worked together almost every single day. And even when you look into this season, when they went and backed up Mummy when she found out that she was pregnant and her boyfriend wanted her to abort, you know, those were also really beautiful moments. And also the fact that Mariam put the tiara on Jalika's head and told her, you know, you deserve to be happy. But in return, Jalika told Mariam many times, you deserve everything you want as well. So wholesome. Mariam is sitting at a table or standing at a table, and Jalika comes in and she starts this monologue, and she's saying, I have always prayed to God to have a sister, a big sister like you. It's just so beautiful. I cannot even do it justice in English, and it's so beautiful because she's saying that in French. Jalika tells Mariam in French, you know, I always wished I had a big sister like you. And then when she's done with her part, Mariam returns the sentences in Wolof, and she says the same thing, but she uses the word little sister, younger sister. They don't approach yet, and Jalika is saying that, you know what, I understand if you can't, you know, do this, because I'm sorry for what my mom did, and I know it must be harder for you. Then Mariam asks, you know, do you know Rakiso? Randomly. She's like, no, but I heard her name a few times. Mariam's like, okay, well, never mind. She will pay my dues. And she's just saying that because she sees it as Raki killed her father and she never got the chance to meet her father. So Raki will pay for that. And then she turns back to, you know, finding her little sister, and she's like, I really don't believe in coincidences, and our friendship, our sisterhood, what we have already built, that was so that we could come to this point, you know. And then they start to celebrate their reunion, and it was just so beautiful. I watched that scene many times. It's chef's kiss. Alida is meeting Mariam. She's telling Mariam that, you know what, I gave the phone to Mansoura because I wanted her to translate it for me, because you didn't tell me what it was, so I didn't know, and I was just too curious. And Mariam gets so crazy. Then it's a scene with Mariam and Amsa, and they talk about love, and they talk about Salif, and they talk about Sheikh. And Mariam says that, you know what, she will never love anyone the way that she loves Sheikh. However, she says this sentence, in the arms of Salif, I will do everything to forget Sheikh. But of course, Salif comes into the house, and that's the only thing he hears. Then we go back to Lalla and Sheikh, and Lalla calls Sheikh to eat his breakfast, and he says he doesn't want anything. Didn't she forget about it? And that he was actually really serious when he said that he will make her life hell. And she tells him that, you know what, Sheikh, it's okay. If you're done, then I'm done too. And if you don't want, we can just divorce. Just give me. And he's like, no, you will die in this marriage. Lalla actually gets, you know, her worth back, and she is not being validated by this marriage. She's telling him that, she's reminding him that, you know what, Sheikh, no, I will not die in this marriage. Don't forget that your mom did a nationwide casting, and she chose me to marry you. She wanted me to be your wife, and you think that I am nothing without you, just divorce me. Then she's like, there are 3 things that you need to know, Sheikh. No man is worth sacrificing my life for, or hate myself for, or ruin my life for? Then Cher is like, if you leave me, no one will marry you. And she's like, that's what you think, Cher. I decide that if I want to remarry, divorce, and marry again, that's on me. I will pack my bags tomorrow and I will leave with the kids, and you will not be able to do anything about it. You know, if you want, we can go to war. However, whatever we do or whatever you decide, just sit your ass down and start chewing, because it's still about the food. In the next scene, we see that Lala actually leaves. Lala actually leaves, and Mère Diagne is just like begging her to stay, and not for Cher, because Cher baaxul guddi baaxul bëccëg, meaning Cher is not a good person, not in the morning, not in the afternoon or night. Just look at me, please stay for me. She's like, oh, Mère Diagne, I heard that Marem is your child now, so you know, because Marem's mom was her best friend. She says that Noura does not want to leave. She's just hanging on her dad, and yeah, I don't know, it's heartbreaking for Noura, because she has always been with both her parents and she has always been close to her dad as well. However, I think it's good that Lala actually finally does whatever she needs to do. And yeah, she's saying that, you know what, this marriage is over, done, finito, clar, basta. Amsa is actually looking right at the scene where Lala is leaving, and she's saying to Chef, oh, I did not know that Lala had that much class and self-respect. And Chef is just basically crying. He's like, I lost everything and I have nothing left. I don't have my wife, my kids, nothing. Amsa's like, you know what, I need a ticket to Abidjan and I need to do some research on Salif, because that is what Sheikh proposed to her when he talked about the offshore accounts, is saying that, you know what, we actually don't know anything about him and they are about to get married. So Alida told me where to go and what is hiding where, but she didn't tell me what it is. So yeah, I need to go to Abidjan. And he's like, you know what, I'll take care of your accommodation, I'll take care of your flight. So she's actually asking, so do you still love Marem? And he's like, you know what, I'm not focused on that, I just need to start my life again. And then he asks, did Marem say anything about me? And I was like, no, she didn't. Oh, actually she did, but Amsa didn't say. Then you have Salif, who has a whole file on Amsa. And it's crazy because he's calling someone and he's like, I want a detailed report on every move she makes. And you better not be suspicious. He speaks Wolof Buler Nine. Meaning he speaks Wolof so well that you think he is a Senegalese man. I was like, damn, how could we not have seen this coming? Because this is crazy. On top of that, Mansoura is a spy because she's talking and a man is asking something on the background. And she's like, you know what, you tried to open the door, you tried to enter by knocking on the window, I busted down the door for you. And then we just see that it is Hamid who is talking, and they are a couple. Hamid and Mansoura. Who saw that coming? I did not see that coming. Then you have Mustafa and Rocky again. And Mustafa's like, can't you chill? Because Rocky's so on edge. Like, since the beginning, they're just talking about, you know what, we cannot hide anywhere. Mustafa's actually asking Rocky like, can't you chill? And she's stressing because she's on edge, and she's like, we cannot hide anywhere, please let me give myself up to the police and I'll go to prison because I killed him. And Mustafa's trying to reassure her and tell her that, you know what, you will not go anywhere. Bakri Sanya was a bad man. He does not deserve you stressing about it, you know. She's like, you know what, I'll just die and you can leave, you can stay behind. And she's trying to find many ways to sacrifice herself for her husband. And she's like, I trust you. He's just saying, what are you saying? Are you okay? Are you normal? So he's saying that, you know what, we're either going to jail together or we are going to flee together. And then there's a big reveal because Raki is pregnant, and then Mustafa screams and he's like, oh my god, you cannot give birth in prison. So they'll go. He is asking for 1 hour and then they'll go. What you'll see is that Mustafa goes to Julia and she gives him a lot of money, a bag full of money. He picks that up and then they go. You see them walking across like Kamberin, which is the point where you can get a lot of cars to other towns of throughout Senegal. And it's crazy. And at the end of their journey, you actually see that Mustafa talks with a man, or the head of the village or the town that they're in, and it looks like Sin Saloum, but I'm not sure, like the south of Senegal. And he's like saying that, you know what, my wife, we were supposed to flee or travel with her mom and 2 siblings, but they died on the way, so that's why we're together now, you know. And she isn't well, she's just pregnant. And he's saying that because the man of the house or the man of the village asks him like, okay, but what's your name? And he's like, so my name is Ali Jau. And he's like, and the woman, he's like, Khoujalai. And he looks dead ass in the camera, and I'm like, what? These people are crazy. So what we see in the background is Jalika and Taiho actually went on a honeymoon. Yeah, they're also in the south of Senegal. You even see like Les Palétuviers and everything. It looks really beautiful. You see the Sin Saloum. It's chef's kiss. And okay, so at one point Jalika is saying, you know what, I don't want to go home, however I want a civil marriage or civil ceremony with mommy and Marem, and I want them to be my witnesses, you know. And she's just choosing whether she wants to do traditional clothing or like Western clothing. And she's asking Taihu like, what do you think? And she's even remarking that, you know, he's been a bit cold this morning. He's saying like, no, I'm good, I'm fine, and you know, I have never lied to you. I'm sorry. Then he talks about he just didn't disclose his situation, that he was married and that he had kids in the beginning. She is like, he doesn't understand what has been happening with him, and he's like, you know, Dalanda is pregnant. And she's like, excuse me? She's asking him, why didn't you say anything? And he's like, well, I was with your mom and she had a heart-to-heart to me and I just couldn't say anything, you know. And she's like, so you came to the house to break up with me? And he's like, no, I just wanted to say, or, you know, to disclose to you that Dalanda is pregnant and talk about what we could do about it. So Jalika's like, so you wanted to marry me but lie to me while we were married or getting married? And he was like, no, I just couldn't tell you, and we just need to enjoy our honeymoon. And she's saying like, are you going to divorce or not? And he doesn't respond, and she's like, respond. And she's like, you know what, I'm out. And he's like, no, we started, we cannot go back. And you need to understand that Dalanda almost died giving birth to the twins, and this can be happening again. Jalika is telling him that, you know what, I'm sorry to hear that, you know, and asking him, so you are not ready for a divorce? And he's like, no, I cannot divorce her now, not at this time. So there's a silence, and Jalika at one point asks Tyro, like, so takkesoef nga may takke wala? But she's more asking it aloud, and takkesoef is what I talked to you about. It's the same kind of marriage that Rocky's mom had with Rocky's dad, because he was not allowed to marry another woman because he probably signed monogamy, same as Tyro. And now he married Rocky's mom, like on the down low. So not official, but on the down low. So that's what he wants to do with Jalika as well. Because we all know that Dalanda is a lawyer. And if she finds out that he married that Tyro married Jalika, like official, she can bring him to the courts. That's why it's important to know that Regina asked this before. Like, what would you do if he would do takkesoef? He was actually replying to Dalanda, yes, to Jalika, yes, it's going to be a takkesoef. No civil marriage, no witnesses, no mahem, no mummy. Then you hear Jalika's thoughts, and she's asking herself, Jalika, it's up to you to see what you're going to do. Are you going to divorce again, or are you going to accept the takkesoef? That's where Jalika's story ends for season 2. And then the last scene is Salif proposing to Mahem. However, we all know that Mahem is not ready for it yet. And before she can reply to his proposal, she looks and she sees Cher. And Cher looks and he sees Mahem. Then he looks on the other side and he sees Salif. And then at the same time, Salif looks at Mahem and then he looks at Cher. And then it's like a triangle. It's like the Illuminati there. And that is how that ends. And that is the final scene of second season of Maîtresse and I. And I'm so sorry, you guys. It has been so much, and I know. However, at least now everything is done. Hope you guys liked the final review of Maîtresse and I. I think it was a whole roller coaster for me to do it this way. It was so much information. I don't know if I will continue doing reviews of Maîtresse and I whenever season 3 comes along. However, let me know in the comments what you think about it, if you want me to continue or not. However, I do have something else. I do want to talk about more Senegalese shows, so I'm going to start talking about other shows, but I'm not going to do it by each episode. I'm just going to do a resume about what the show is about and encourage you guys to watch them. And yeah, what else? If you guys have a show that you want me to start with, just put it in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching. I know this is going to be a long video. I'm sorry in advance. Go to Senegalese for my latest blog posts. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I see you guys in my next video. Thank you guys for watching. I know this is going to be a long video. I'm sorry in advance. Go to Senegalese for my latest blog posts. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I see you guys in my next video.